today parents are very naive or, themselves are naive about what they're logging into at home and what visibility they're giving somebody that may have access or want access to to their data. And the easiest way in, you bring up Roblox, for instance. I mean, there's a simulator on there where kids can jump on and they can go play the assassin on Charlie Kirk.
Welcome to Spotlight Sioux Falls, where culture meets commerce and the people behind our favorite places get the mic.
We're your hosts, Melissa Goodwin and Steve Schmidt, and we're sitting down with the makers, doers, and dreamers shaping the soul of our city.
From storefronts to side hustles, tattoos to tech startups, we are telling the stories that make Sioux Falls shine.
Because behind every business is a human story, and those stories, they're what make our community feel like home. This is Spotlight Sioux Falls. Welcome to Spotlight Sioux Falls. I'm Melissa Goodwin. I'm here with my co-host, Steve Schmidt, and we are at the IT Outlet Warehouse today with Kevin Huber, the owner and chief
Janitor.
barbecue guy, all things.
Yeah, I get potluck duties.
Potluck duties. I like it.
Yep.
And we're here to talk about this is not just your typical IT episode. We are here to I bet this Christmas you'll probably have a slew of tablets and is it PS5 or PS6, PS7? What are we at?
PS5, Sony, yes.
PS5.
Xbox.
So any of those devices, we're going to be talking today about how to make sure that your home and all your devices are safe.
Kev, we're used to you being a guy who's a little bit lighter, but today's a pretty serious subject, right? It's not one that you take lightly.
No, I agree with that. It is serious. It's personal. And I think anytime something's personal, it's serious. But I think what we do will bring a lot of ease and a little bit of laughter and fun when you work with our team and the way we go about delivering, this personal data protection plan that we're going to discuss here today. Our aim is to make it easy, right? And it's got to be somewhat fun at the same time, but again, it's personal, so it's going to be a little serious for sure.
So we think a lot about safety and security of our networks at work and thinking about, do we have a firewall up here at work? But many of us maybe don't have that experience or expertise when we think about our homes. And our homes are more wired now than they've ever been. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about your data defense offering. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what is home data defense?
Yes. So most of the time, in most places where people work, there is a hardened cyber product or products behind the scenes filtering the internet for the business, right? And these are demands from insurance companies, and there's their policies to put in place to safeguard the company, the employees, the data that's pumped in from customers. So more importantly, I think what the easiest thing to understand here is this is a way to filter the internet before it makes it to the devices in your home, right? So a lot of people think that their, Midco or Starlink or Verizon or whatever their internet feed is coming into their home. They think that device that hooks up to provides the connectivity has enough security to it, which in fact it really has no security to it. It has a small bit of filtering that it does just for its own benefit to help the connection be good.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to protecting your personal data, it's just not doing enough. And again, I feel like, there'll come a day where your homeowner's insurance will require some sort of a cyber policy to be in place, much like they do now with regular businesses. So.
Well, and that's one thing, right? We're talking about like a financial theft, if you will, but there's also like the theft of our kids' minds. This heist that social media and games like Roblox and go down the list, right? YouTube for kids is not for kids in a lot of cases. And I think that's the part where when you said, hey, I want to talk about this, where I said, let's talk about that. Kev, where does that sit in your brain in terms of figuring that out to stop the access of these things?
It's a good question. So we've been filtering the internet here for over 20 years. And what we've seen from the .com bubble to where we're at now is 1,000 times different from when I grew up and found the internet. I think that today parents are very naive, or themselves are naive about what they're logging into at home and what visibility they're giving somebody that may have access or want access to their data. And the easiest way in, you bring up Roblox, for instance. I mean, there's a simulator on there where kids can jump on and they can go play the assassin on Charlie Kirk.
Hmm.
That's not something you want to. Hey, can I buy some Roblox bucks to go buy or play the simulator to. So these things can be just blocked altogether. Now, is that fun? Is your kid gonna love it? Are you gonna love it? Are I don't know. It's not about loving it. It's about doing the right thing.
Yep.
Right. And if you know these programs, again, we're kind of picking on Roblox, but YouTube has their problems, right, with phishing and malware links and things like that. But you can jump on there, right, and turn yourself into Alicia, who's 13 and likes to play whatever games, and instantly you'll start getting messages from people about where do you live, and oh hey, I'm this person, or I'm and it's predators just
Right.
lurking on your children without you knowing it.
So we're checking our bank accounts with our phones. We've got maybe a refrigerator that we just bought, maybe one of those cool Samsung or
Yeah.
LGs that have the light up screen, and you can program things in there, share your grocery list. We've got our TVs that are hooked up to all these different apps and YouTube and all we can play on our TV. And then our kids have maybe a PS5 and maybe an iPad. We might have like a couple of, you know, laptops.
Yep.
There's all these devices. How do you make sure that they're all safe?
You need a firewall.
So that doesn't happen.
Yeah. And again, so this device, the subscription service that we're providing is going to help filter, you know, like dot China and dot Russia, dot North Korea, right? We joked a little bit today. Kim Jong Un over in North Korea doesn't need access to your home, right? You can block that entire country from even entering anything into your home, whether they email or getting on, any sort of Zoom or info meeting, or just any access that leaves the internet open. This, you can block that entirely, just like Roblox. If you wanted to block Roblox, you can block Roblox and it can never enter your home. If you want to block adult content, but dad wants his Pornhub subscription, you can block all porn except Pornhub if you really have to have it, right? But let's face it, social media and where we are in today's world, there's a lot of anxiety. We talked about depression and social disorder because they're living in a space that's not reality, and they're getting fed things that aren't really true. And there's people trying to manipulate these algorithms and the people behind these programs that they're using to invade your personal property and your personal space and your financial stuff. Again, if you don't block some of this stuff, you're not, you're leaving the front door open for anybody and everybody.
Kev, question for you. Technical term would be at the device kernel. There is some people who say this device is secure. What you're saying with a firewall is if you have home internet, we're going to blanket that entire connectivity, no matter the device, with the firewall, i.e. when I'm at home using the Wi-Fi, those are applied to every device, right?
Yes. The idea is to filter the internet before it touches the devices in your home.
Okay.
That's the most important thing somebody can do to help themselves. You don't necessarily have to block anything. It's not that, but there are standard things out there in society. As someone that is living in humanity on this globe, you do not need to have access from these particular countries or sites or different types of algorithms. We can block that so you never have to worry about those known nefarious actors out there. We can we have a base package. We know we're going to filter out X number of stuff because we already know it's bad stuff.
Yeah.
Right. And you're letting that in without having this device right now. Again, so that little modem, that little router and all that, it's not blocking that stuff. Right. And that's where we start. We start with a base layer that says, hey, this is the foundation of protecting society on the internet. And that goes from Australia. We have them there. We have, all over the United States, soon to be Canada. Like, we're already managing these things globally for people. So, I mean, at the end of the day, there's, they're going to have to decide, is this something that do I make enough money? Is my personal data, is me banking online, is me letting my kids play on social media and game sites and all the stuff that we do in our home that we think we're safe? Now that you know that, now that you're hearing this,
Mhm.
are you okay with the gamble you're taking?
Yeah.
Right? That's the question.
Well, how real is that threat? So if I live in Brandon, like we're here in Brandon today, if I'm a homeowner in Brandon, my kids are maybe in high school, maybe I don't have a ton of I maybe check my bank account once a week. How real is the threat of somebody coming in or having one of these nefarious actors come into my home? Does that happen a lot?
Yeah, it does. There'll be 300 plus thousand identity thefts in 2026 for sure. And there'll be over a million. I mean, we've done it. Every 22 seconds there's an attempt to be hacked. And if you go onto our site, itohomedatadefense.com, you can scroll down on the first page and you can see literally we've filtered the internet in such a way for the device. You can see where the attacks are coming from and how many hit North America, how many hit Europe, how many hit Southeast Asia, and you can see the attacks and we can see real time where people are trying to break barrier of entry to take personal data.
Hmm. It's interesting. You have people trying to essentially take your money, your information. Why are they concerned with taking over our kids' minds? Is because they're sick and twisted? Like, help me understand that one, because that's the one where I go, what are they getting out of that?
Yeah.
They being who's ever doing that, right?
I mean, to be brutally honest, they want to molest your children. They want to traffic them. They want to they want to do things that you hope never happen to your kids. And unfortunately, that's uncomfortable to say and uncomfortable to talk about. But I'm here to tell you, like there's a reason they find 3,000 kids stuffed away in a box truck moving somewhere around the globe. Like that's just the internet and just accessibility to what they thought was safe and fell victim
Hmm.
to the bad.
What about so we have a provider locally that has an app that says it's going to help keep our kids safe. Why is that? Isn't that enough to help from a blocking standpoint? Tell me what's the downfall of some of those local providers that have an app, whether it's Verizon or another cell phone provider or our local cable providers.
Good question. There's a limited amount that a provider can do. And let me give you an example. We have a customer who has they're a library, right? We
Mhm.
work with lots of libraries across the country and they're great businesses. And obviously people go to the library to use computers and they
Hmm.
use the internet and to do,
And they can't
whatever.
block it at a library, can they?
They cannot block it. So it's a public institution. It's taxpayer funded. So to filter the internet
Oh,
and say that this particular guns, adult content, they can't filter that because it's not theirs to do it.
Hmm.
So you find it quietly again. Here's another terrible story. People go on the internet, into the library, grab an iPad, head into the bathroom, turn on adult content,
that's happens all the time.
and
Yep.
take care of themselves and
Well,
and abuse the internet. Like
Right.
there's also again, I need to be careful here. If you look downtown at the library, you will find a large portion of our homeless population. Not that they're bad people, but because the internet's free and you can get anywhere, they will go outside the library and sit and use the internet, right? And I think that's just a representation of how loose the internet is in our library, which probably bleeds into schools too,
yeah.
right?
Well, and how many people's home Wi-Fi is just free? How many people can you go sit outside their house and then you can just connect to their home Wi-Fi? 'Cause
Right.
they didn't secure it down. Right. There's small steps you can do to secure it, right? Like here, you come into our place, we have a guest network, and then we have a private network. That private network is just for us internally.
Yeah.
The outside, the guest network, that's just something that you can use, but it's throttled. There's certain we limit it, we throttle it way down so that you can't stream or,
Mhm.
BitTorrent movies or, whatever it may be. But there again, when you look at that, how many homes across the globe and North America just have I got the router from my provider, it's got Wi-Fi on it, and off we went, we didn't protect it, right?
Mm.
So you hop on a plane and you see you hit your Bluetooth and your wireless, and all of a sudden you see all these devices that you can
Oh yeah.
connect to, and some of them have a little lock to them, and some of them don't. The ones that don't, I could just jump on there and have a quick peek at what, if I know what I'm doing, I can go see what this person's doing on an airplane.
Yeah.
Probably working, maybe checking a bank account.
Yeah.
Maybe he's gonna move some crypto, and I can intercept that on its way to his wallet and put it to mine.
I didn't know you could do any of those things on a plane. The internet's always so god awful. You're
Yeah,
lucky to be able
you're
to
lucky
pull
to
up
even get the damn
your
thing.
video by the end of the flight. You
Yeah,
might be
yeah.
able to log into Facebook or something.
That's the thing. It's like just because you get the internet doesn't mean it's filtered and it's clean and it's good for you to use and it's safe.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the number one thing. Like, don't think that you just got this box and you got the internet and you got your phone and you got the three play. Was it the triple play cable phone and
Yeah.
internet? Right? Like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
the only thing probably safe there, well, not even today, is your phone. But even then, like, think of all the old people that get called and scammed and have to give their social security number up. Like, that's some of the stuff I think about. Like, this is great for people of like if your parents are using the internet, you can just block every site and just leave them access to certain stuff. You can turn the internet off at 10 o'clock at night so they can't get on it till 7 o'clock in the morning. You can do that for your kids.
Yep.
Like, there's so many possibilities if you just say, listen, for right now, for $500 a year, soon to be $600 a year, so $50 a month, you have a huge peace of mind that says my cyber personal data has some filtering to it, and I'm probably a hell of a lot safer than I was without it. Matter of fact, you are a hell of a lot safer.
Well, and I know I've had the apps before, right? The app from our cable provider, and I've set it up, and then I just like I don't want to think about all that all
Yep.
the time.
Yeah.
I leave a couple months ago. I leave a couple few months, and I was like, oh yeah, I should check that because I find that one of my teenagers on a site that I didn't really want them to be on, and the app had they'd either updated or something, so it wasn't even active.
Right.
And I don't even know how long it had been since it was inactive. And I'm
They're
like, did the
probably
router
charging you for it.
well, the router, I don't know what happened. Anyway,
Yeah.
so it's like one of those things where like I don't want to have to think about all that shit all the
Yeah.
time. I don't want to constantly be worrying if this is working. So I'm curious if you have a home like ours, we've got teenagers, we've got a young child, we've got, I don't know if Steve needs to be on Pornhub. We'll have that discussion later,
Yeah.
but
That's fun.
It's,
how can you
an adult.
customize all of that? How do you customize these solutions for real people that have different ages
Yeah.
and different needs?
Again, great question. The apps that you have from your provider are okay,
Yep.
but they're providing a little bit of visibility. But think of it as an a la carte thing. Again, back to the adult content thing, right? Or even gaming. Like, if my 14-year-old can understand, or 15, 16-year-old can understand video games and Roblox and what's
Mhm.
right and what's wrong, and the other one can't, we can filter that in a way that gives access only to, right?
Certain devices.
Yeah, or just the connectivity, the login, the credentialing, whatever it
Okay.
may be. So there's lots of options, and again, the f- the family unit is going to be super diverse, and so should your online security be too, right?
Yeah.
It's not a one size fits all because not every home is the same. So you
Yeah.
have to have flexibility. But again, back to this, we have a base package, that makes sense, that we know is good, right? And
Yeah.
for all intents and purposes, my tutelage came from DSU, right? So they're one of 6 institutions now that have the three different credentialing to really educate the
Mhm.
CIA, the NSA, top level security. So, you know, it's changed a lot since the 90s, but there again, there's a big play.
So, Kevin, what makes you someone who we should trust handling this? What's your background? Like, what made you want to do this, and why should a good, honest parent look at you in the face and say, "I trust your organization"?
It's a good question. So back before the dot-com bubble, I was in college, to date myself. So now we know how long roughly I've been on Earth. I went to DSU, which is one of 6 institutions that is certified on 3 different levels, whether it's I think it's research, defense, and something else. So they carry these 3 credentials, and only 6 institutions in the country do that here in North America. And those institutions help teach our government, like CIA, NSA, the National Security Association, right? Some of the top of the world technology and cybersecurity are taught at these institutions. So one, I come from that tutelage, right? Now things have changed a lot since the early 90s to the 2000s. But at the end of the day, I think that 20 years plus of filtering the internet and knowing how data works and how easy it is to get access to it, you know, aside from hacking your home really quick, I think that that probably helps clean up a little bit of why us, if that helps, I guess.
Yeah.
So wait a second. In Madison, South Dakota, they're one of 6 in the US that trains the CIA and NSA and others. How did that happen?
Probably from really geeky, nerdy people like me showing up in the 90s going, "Hey, we can really make a mess out of the internet if we want to." I no, I'm just kidding. Not probably. I don't know. You know, it was always a cyber school. It was always an information technology school, and over the
Mhm.
course of time, I'm sure grants and all the positioning that's gone on is really, you know. And again, people quietly, you know, yeah, I probably shouldn't say this too loud, but at the end, you know, I mean, Meta has, you know, they came out and toured a big mine a mile underneath the earth and out by Rapid City to put a data center and build a, you know, a bunker build out for Meta. I mean, we're a who comes to South Dakota looking to steal data,
Yeah.
let alone anything else, you know?
Right.
Maybe a pheasant or a walleye. I don't know.
Data, pheasants, and walleye. Who
Yeah.
knew? And
Gold
banking.
back in the day, maybe
Yeah,
100
yeah,
years
gold
ago.
back in the day for sure.
Gold
That,
rush was a big
yeah,
deal.
yeah,
Yep.
without a doubt, without a doubt.
Well, I think it's one thing that because we maybe don't always realize the quality of services that we have here that maybe we're quietly sort of tucked away here in Brandon, but now you're offering it to residents, which I think is amazing. As a mom, I've been in a car and we had our like I mentioned, we've got kids that are in college and kids that are 6. And, had our 6-year-old in the back watching YouTube Kids, and the second I hear something that I'm like, "That doesn't sound good, let me see it." And he was embarrassed to hand it up because he knew it wasn't right, but, like, he's 6, right? And I looked at it and I was like, "Steve, this is what our kid is watching," and it was on YouTube
Yep.
Kids.
Yeah.
And so as a parent, I know how easy it is for that to happen. And even when my girls were little and I, taught technology in schools, I didn't let them have iPads till they were 12. They still found all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it's exhausting being a parent trying to babysit and trying to understand like what's happening on the internet and what all the things like I should making sure like my kid is safe. I just want to be able to offload that and just be a parent. So I love that you've got a solution for that.
Yeah, you gotta have to get uncomfortable, when I say that, it's like you have to be okay blocking the stuff that is bad. Like, and if you don't do that, don't be surprised if something happens or your kid changes or you change or something happens to your family. Like
Yeah.
it's you have to get uncomfortable and go, listen, this isn't right. Even though it's fun for my kids and it gives me some free time so I can go sit on my easy chair and watch TV and be a bum myself. I can just give my kid the internet and off I go, right? Well, what's going on there, right? You don't have any idea,
Yep.
right? And that I think that's where people have to get really serious about, are you willing to protect your data, your cyber personal data, and your kids and the well-being and mental stability and your finances and all that? Like, you have to be able, like, do you want to protect that? Is it valuable to you?
Well,
If it doesn't matter, then don't do it, right?
it does matter to everybody, and I think we all know that. It's a
Yeah.
matter of admitting it's as an so the stat that you used, and I want to double down on this, is how many people get their homes broken into versus online? My guess would be more online than homes.
Absolutely.
But we'll lock our cars at our doors at night, lock our
Yeah.
cars, make sure our security cameras are working. We've invested so much in the safety of our homes and seemingly let this thing just kind of come to a crash out.
Yeah.
But
You'll
we all
look at
have a Ring doorbell to see
oh,
if our
me too.
packages are there,
You'll look
right?
at you look at your ring, that ding that goes off on your phone. Who's at my doorstep? But well, don't worry about filtering our Wi-Fi or the internet. We'll just leave that wide open. That's all right. We won't worry about that.
What's it going to take though for parents to finally go, yeah, okay, this is a crisis? Because fear is what gets us to lock our homes.
This is all fear. I've had my identity stolen. I can't tell you how many times now that I'm the CEO of this company. Every new employee we get here gets a text message from somebody acting to be me, asking them to go buy gift cards, scratch it
Walgreens,
off,
yeah.
give them the thing, or they get an email or somebody like It's constant. Same with my credit card. Like, but I have all the stuff in place that alerts me and we can instantly shut it down and we, or it never makes it in, right? We get better and better and better and tighter and tighter and tighter. And we just realize like what it's uncomfortable and it's going to take some extra steps. But do I want to go through the process of like, oh, I lost all my financial data. Somebody hacked my bank account, drained all my crypto, drained all my savings account, drained my, checking account. And now you've got 6 months to work with insurance and the banking industry to help get you your finances back. All the while, you're just going to stack up debt with credit cards because you can't get your money.
Yeah.
So are you comfortable with doing that? And if you are, then you're a lot braver than me. I'm not doing that. Right. And that's why I say, if you make 100 grand or more combined or as an individual, you are a prime target because they know that you have investments and assets that have real value.
So I'm curious, why hasn't this been done before? Like if this service would have been available, I would have bought it. Why has nobody offered this? Why does this seem like crazy? It seems crazy to me that no one has done this before.
I think the generation, that Vietnam generation, the boomer generation, if you will, right? We didn't have the threats. We didn't grow up with cell phones. I didn't grow up with a tablet.
Yeah.
I didn't have the internet. I had an Atari that you played video games on channel 3 or 4.
Mhm.
We're at a day and age now where I have a child that's in college. I have one that's getting ready to go through high school, and I already see the digital footprint they're being forced into just at school.
Yep.
Right? You
Mhm.
think of COVID, how much of that stuff was done online, right?
Mhm.
How much of it was done from home, right? Where you're logging in to the school, right? And you're giving access to whatever Chromebook or whatever tablet at your house. It's an unprotected Wi-Fi that, hopefully the school's got enough, security to protect that stuff. But, who knows, man?
Well, I'll give you a good example of maybe even when you think you're covered, you're not. Owned a business, had a different managed IT company, Kevin, unbeknownst to you. I think you knew that. I told you, but it was the wrong choice. They were supposed to be taking care of that stuff. And what happened is I was getting home from a trip on a plane. I looked at the bank account. I was like, something's not right here. And I looked at my email. I said, I haven't got any emails all day. What's going on? And then all of a sudden, a couple things revealed themselves to me. And I raced back to the office. And it wasn't financial out of my bank account, but that would have been the very next thing. They had been in there for about a month.
Yeah.
And essentially they went into this investment we made into lead data, which is the equivalent of like 40 grand, and drained it, right? Because they can go sell that to other people. Now we're out of $40,000 of lead data. Like that's a big dent in a different way.
Absolutely.
And I felt so violated.
Oh,
Because
gut-wrenching.
once I saw the fact that they were storing all the emails in specific folders, I was like, they have been watching me for
A while.
a long time.
Yeah.
And I remember, I don't want that to have to happen at home, but I'm going to raise my hand and say, I'm like a lot of people here where, as Melissa would vouch, I do err on the side of it's going to be okay. Right. And I know it's not. So it's
Yeah.
like, what is the motivating thing? Pain motivates most of us, right? How are we going to finally say, you know what, Kevin? I'm going to buy this instead of waiting for my kid or to get a call from the school psychologist saying we have an issue here.
Yeah.
Can I answer that? I feel like if you put a coat on your kid when it's cold, if you make sure they have lunch in their backpack, you should make sure that there's protection around whatever they're seeing on their device.
Yeah.
That's as a parent, like that's one of the things that I worry about a lot. Because think about how violated you felt with. I'm answering your question for you, Kevin.
It's fine. I've
But
got a
think-
great
People
example.
trust
Think
me.
about how violated you felt with those credits being taken. How violated would you
Oh,
feel
yeah.
if somebody was watching your child while they're taking a bath,
Not
or
even
while they're
close.
in their room,
Yeah. Someone would be
for a
dead.
month, right? Like how awful.
Yeah. Hey, don't leave your. So a couple of things, like we've seen it, and there's stories out there where kids take devices home from school and they leave them up, and school has access to the camera
Yeah.
in their room. Right? That's sick. It sucks. Right? And when you turn the news on right now, what's the biggest thing they talk about? In politics, and but this has a big play. They talk about all the immigration, right?
Yeah.
How this is such a huge problem. Well, guess what you need to get into the United States and prove that you have some sort of an identity? A social security number. What do you
Sure.
think is right now the most precious dark web item for sale? Social security numbers.
How help me understand this one because I don't understand it, and I feel like I really need to. Wouldn't I be notified if someone started to use my social security number, or is it going to be months until I find that out?
It depends on what kind of protection you have, right?
Okay.
I mean, there's things out there you can do to alert you when your credit's been pulled, right? Because that's a
Yep.
social security thing. Most people don't have the means to do that, or the wherewithal, or know how to do it, right? And on the dark web, they're not they're just creating IDs,
Hmm.
right? And just documents so that they can go get jobs,
Yep.
or they can go, pass an inspection, or get a driver's license. You hear about the CDL stuff, right?
Yep.
As long as you show proof, right, as a human,
Hmm.
in our country, there's not a lot of checking to see where or what or how, is this a duplicated social security number,
That's true.
or, it's just one of those things. I hire people all the time. I don't go ask if that social security number is good. Like, that's on you, the individual, right?
Yeah, you file
I'll
the
pay you where you
I-9.
want to be paid, but you had all the identifying information that I need that says, oh yeah, okay, good. We can check off that list. There's a lot of people that do that,
Yeah.
including me.
Yep.
Right. But again, that doesn't mean that the dark web doesn't exist and it's not a serious thing and that people don't want your social security number, because they do.
You just made me fast forward 50 years to where not only could they probably steal your social security number, then all of a sudden you're gone. Like if they take your social security number, like
Absolutely.
everything, not just financial, your health records, like someone else has just gotten that from
If
you.
somebody's super savvy, they have your social security numbers. That gives people access to everything.
Yeah.
You know?
So this is all terrifying, and I'm curious if you were to give some advice, Kevin, to say like these are the in general blanket advice. What are the things that you should check on to make sure is secure in your home, and check on to make sure is secure for your kids? If somebody's watching this and we're going to talk about your offer here in a second,
Yeah.
but what are two things or two or three things like check these right now?
Uh if I'm at my house, I want to know what applications my kids are on, right? What sites are they going to see,
So
right?
check the history.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely check the search history for sure. I mean, at the end of the day, you should be, thumbing through your kids' phones and their tablets and their whatever they're using, right? Video game systems. You should know what they're using for
Hmm.
sure. That. Secondly, I would, I mean, if you have some concern, run a credit check on yourself. Make sure
Yeah.
everything's okay, right? At the end of the day. And then three, just, have some, just stop for a second and just have some wherewithal when you're looking at stuff and go, is this right? Does this make sense for what we're doing? Again, each home is so different. So to give blanket advice, blanket advice would be like, turn on two-factor authentication. Don't use your debit card, use your credit card, right? Don't log into your financial stuff or information or crypto or any of that stuff without being behind some sort of a good clean internet, right?
Yeah.
And most people are like, well, I've got a good clean internet. Yeah, you do at your house, but it's wide open. So
Yeah. Just because it's fast doesn't mean it's
yeah,
good.
listen, yeah, that's why on my social posts, you'd be better off banking online at your office, asking your boss if it's okay to do some banking there, because you're behind their firewall, you're
Right.
behind their hardened cyber device,
Yeah.
so you're safe to a degree, right? But again, you go to Starbucks and log into your bank account and go down to Wells Fargo, and you, like you're asking for it. You are
Yeah.
asking for it, 100%.
Hmm.
And it's only going to get worse because we're getting way smarter. The younger generation, I mean, they already know how to use a PC and
Yeah.
the internet. And we just got done saying how many 10 and 12-year-olds have a device,
Yeah.
access to one.
So tell us about what you've got. Tell us about what you guys are offering at IT Outlet for residential customers, and how far and wide will you guys go? You're here in Brandon, but I'm
Yeah.
assuming obviously you'll go to Sioux Falls.
Oh, sure. I think what I want to do is help out my community first and foremost, right
Hmm.
here. So start at home and giving the ability for those to get our founding father, our main offer. Right now, we're giving it for $500 for the year, right? And that's until we get 500 subscriptions, and then it
Hmm.
goes up to 600. Okay, so we're filling seats right now. It launches January 1st. After we fill the 500 seats, then it's 600. So it's $50, a month for the year. It's a 1-year contract, or you can sign more. It's fine. It'll take you forever, right? But the goal, again, we're already in Australia. We're going to be in Canada. We're all across North America.
Hmm.
We've got boxes galore in these areas. So I already, our goal is to be a global fit company. This is
Yeah.
something that we can do in any country, but more importantly, I'm an America first guy, and I would love to make sure that I can cover, or give people the ability here in North America to take serious their personal cyber and digital data.
So if you're a mom or a dad or a parent or a responsible adult listening to this, you'd have to rethink what Kevin's talking about because that's what I'm doing when I'm listening to him. Think of the things I spend money on that are more expensive and significantly less output than this does in my life. Call it just about everything. Every utility bill I pay is significantly more than this. The cell phone bill I pay is 3 or 4 times
Yeah.
more than this. You're really saying I'm offering you this for less than a cup of coffee a day, to steal your Starbucks example, and then some, especially with coffee today, to protect your entire home against the bad guys on the internet.
Yeah. It's tough. It's an invisible product. It's not something that you touch every day, even though you do touch it every day.
Yeah.
You don't know it, right? And then again, most people, 98% of homes don't have this
Right.
on the planet Earth, right? I don't know what Mars looks like yet, but this would work there too via
Yeah.
Starlink.
And how do
So,
I know it's working? So if I subscribe, obviously, like I'm trusting that it's
yeah.
working, but how will I know, like, oh, this
Yeah.
was blocked or X amount of attacks have been blocked?
Yeah, if you want that data, you can get it from us.
Okay.
But I think more importantly is trusting the us on the base level of blockage, right? The stuff we know you need to filter out. But you're gonna have some requests, right? Every home does. Like I don't want like I'll use this as an example because we're doing this for somebody now. I'll leave them unnamed. It's in North America. Their son has a gambling problem. We've turned off gambling at at that house, at that home. And I always say, go log in. Can you get to the Hard Rock Casino? Blocked,
Mm-hmm.
right? Can you get to these? Like, go try and get to them. And if you can't get to them, that service is working,
Yeah.
right?
How do you add new things to this? Because new things happen all the time.
Yeah. So the beauty of what we have, we're monitoring it again on that front page. When you go to itohomedatadefense.com, scroll down that first page and you'll see where the threats are coming from and how they're hitting which countries and we're the biggest and baddest country on the planet, and that's the most attacks happen here.
Yep.
Okay. So for us, it'll be I forgot what the question really
How do
was.
I like what's going to happen next? How are
Yeah.
you staying ahead?
Okay, so yeah, so
Yep.
a great way to understand like what's happening next. Our system, we have a cloud repository that we build for you,
Okay.
right? And your home resides on a file. It's its own little system.
Mhm.
And then as 0-day threats come out, when
Yep.
I mean 0-day, that means like in the last hour, a new threat has come onto the market and we're blocking that. And here's what we're doing. We automatically have that sort of 0-day that update automatically happens for you.
Mhm.
So you don't have to worry about, if what if something new comes out and it's 3 months and I don't like know what's happening instant.
How are you?
0-day
How are you
threats.
identified for 0-day threats? Are you on a very special list?
That's correct.
Yeah.
So we worked with the manufacturer to design this program. Nobody's doing it. The manufacturer doesn't have another partner like us, right? We partner with Fortinet. I really enjoy their products. They do a good job, but we help carve out what this is going to look like, how we'll deliver it, right? And
Mhm.
what makes sense because the average user isn't going to know what a firewall is, isn't going to understand what a 0-day threat is, won't understand, how we update to keep the fresh code of the internet filtered and protected.
Mhm.
That's the stuff you just have to be like, I know cyber threats and nefarious activity exist.
Mhm.
Am I smart enough to say I should do something about it now before I become a victim,
Yeah.
right? A statistic.
Well, that's a question we're asking everybody out there right now.
Yeah, and I'm glad I know you, Kevin, because
Yeah.
now that I'm terrified, I feel like I also have a
Yeah.
solution,
But
right?
don't be terrified because not much has happened, right? I mean, at the end of the day, that's the best time to make a move is when
Right.
nothing's happened, right? And again, this will only get worse. So Web 1.0 was the dawn of the internet.
Yep.
Okay. So think of this, right? So Y2K pops up. We have the www.com bubble, right? And so then we moved into Web 2.0, where you have more of a say and interaction with the web across, platforms where people are speaking with people and using the internet in a way to communicate, do business, and all that. different from Web 0.0, right? What 1.0. We're ready to jump into Web 3.0 right now. So everybody hears words like quantum computing,
Yep.
Mhm.
right? AI, right? All this blockchain and crypto and all that stuff. Like the dollar is going to turn into a digital item. The title for your car, the title for your home will all go on the blockchain and become a digital contract. So you won't have to go down to the local title company, and it'll all be done digitally, right? And if you're not protecting that stuff, and you it's only going to get worse.
Yeah.
So act now and not wait and let the digital dawn of Web 3.0 get there, right? And then all of a sudden, you're sitting there with, you're like standing in front of naked, at Wembley Stadium for a Teddy Mercury show.
That sounds a little.
I've got to ask you, what is something, I feel kind of crazy to ask this question, but I feel like you'll appreciate it out there. What's something that is the worst thing that you've seen? Because not everybody's going to, this isn't going to fall on everybody the same way. They have to hear something bad. And I know it gets bad, but what in your career, what's the worst thing you've seen happen?
Two things I think that are detrimental in this thing, and both of them fall on personal experiences. I've seen hundreds of thousands of dollars drained in seconds from people's lives, and that's gut wrenching. More importantly, I guess the biggest one, and again, some people don't have children, but I've seen a kid be abducted, kidnapped, right? And the anguish and the anxiety and just broke my heart. Somebody that just didn't know any better, or how to protect their child on the internet, or just in a digital world, and just fell victim to it. I mean, everything turned out okay in the end, but I mean, I can't imagine as a father what I'd feel like to lose my child. So
We hear about grooming in real life. It happens a lot online, right? Where kids are going to infiltrate, or pardon me, strangers are going to infiltrate your kids' devices, and it might not be instantaneous, but over time, it's that. And Kevin, I'm sorry to hear that. There are way too many stories like that out
there
there
are,
right now.
there are.
And for me, it's how do you get someone to say, I don't want to wait till that happens? When we're motivated by pain as human beings,
Mm.
not a lot of us are just going to do the right thing. What is the thing that's going to get people to do this or something like this before it's too late, in your opinion?
I think a little bit of self evaluation. Look at yourself, if it's you individually or you have a partner, and look at each other and go, how important is our digital data? How important is it to us? How important is our bank account, the way we move money? How important is, retirement documents? How important is our will, our social security number, right? Our crypto wallet, a lot of people are in that space. Like you need to look at yourself and go, is this important?
Mhm.
Can I go without it? Can you go without your money? Can you go without, you know, your child? Can you go without, the hard work your parents put in and left you as a gift when they passed away and all that money's gone? Can you go without it? Like if you can go without it, then don't do nothing.
Yeah.
But if you want to be serious about it, like this is the reason we're doing it. Like it's only going to get worse. And those are the things you need to think about on an every day. Not just when it's convenient, like every day.
Hmm.
What am I logging into? Where am I going? Where are my kids going? Where am I logging into this at?
Your kids will thank you later.
I don't care if they thank me or not. I know I did the right thing.
Yeah.
That's to me what this is all about. This is doing the right thing and giving people the ability to protect themselves and not just let big corporations and businesses be the only way that people get, filtered internet and protected. Like
Yeah.
this belongs in homes. 100%.
So I don't think I'm sold. Where do I sign up, Kevin? Where do
Good
we
question.
sign
So you want to go to itohomedata.defense.com,
Okay.
and you're going to find a waiting list there. And we're going to fill up that for a launch on January 1st. And again, the first 500, they get a grandfathered. That's theirs for a lifetime. They don't pay a cent more. But once that 500 is filled, we're going to move to $600, which is $50 a month. And for a small fee every month that you probably have in Hulu and Paramount and Disney Plus subscriptions, we can help you filter and protect all that. So
Well, I'm glad to know you. I'm glad we know you.
yeah,
And I'm
yeah,
really glad that you're offering this because it's something, I mean, just parents, we don't have time to be cybersecurity experts. We want to be parents, and most of us are working and doing other things. So I appreciate that you have this for those of us that for our homes, to keep
Yeah,
our homes as safe as our businesses.
we're all busy. We're all
Yeah.
busy. And if you can have peace of mind, you don't have to go look over your kid's shoulder or check on this and that, and it's already just being taken care of. Well, that guess what? Time is our most precious asset, and we're giving that back to people in their homes.
I love that. So you're offering this regionally in this region. Brandon, obviously you're in
Yep,
Brandon.
we want to. I'm gonna be selfish here. I want to help out my local community before we start helping out around the country, and eventually, like we mentioned earlier, we are doing this globally,
Mhm.
right, in certain continents already. So, the goal will be, this will be, hopefully a world used product and service. But right now, we're gonna take care of our community out here in B Town.
We're the fans of the mission. And
Yeah,
fans
we'll
of
be
Brandon.
first on your list, or at least in the first group on your list. Thanks again for being on the show, Kevin.
Thanks for
You have
having
an
me.
amazing team out here
Thank you.
with all your people at the IT outlet. So
Yeah.
thanks again for being on the show.
Yep. Thank you.
This episode of Spotlight Sioux Falls is sponsored by Magnetic. We help businesses grow through content that stands out and software that scales your conversations. Not sure how to build your pipeline? You can find us at magnetic.services. Magnetic.services, your pipeline will thank you.
Thanks for listening to Spotlight Sioux Falls.
These are the stories and the businesses that shape our city. If you heard something today that made you smile, made you think, or maybe reminded you of someone you know in your neighborhood, please share it.
That's how we support local. That's how we grow. And if you know a business owner we should feature, or you want to tell your story, reach out.
Until next time, we're Steve and Melissa, and this is Spotlight Sioux Falls, where local stories get the stage they deserve. Running a business means we all wear a lot of hats, but sometimes you need extra hands, sometimes some specialized talent to keep projects moving.
That's where our friends at Solvo Global come in. Whether you need offshore or nearshore resources or long-term project support, Solvo connects you with the right people to scale your business.
They make it simple. You get trusted talent without the overhead, so you can focus on growth instead of scrambling for help.
Check out the link in our show notes below to learn more about how Solvo Global can support your next big move.